and welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core number 145. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined, as always, by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa,
Yes.
how's it going?
It's going well. I encountered asterisks today in my daily life.
Yeah, when is the last time you... How often do you encounter asterisks in your daily lives? It's always a weird thing, you know?
I was combing through the board members and donor lists for all local arts institutions. Just to get familiar with the names of the movers and shakers and philanthropists and patrons
Filled
of the
with
arts.
asterisks.
And a couple names had asterisks after them. And it took me a while to figure out why. Because I'm like, everybody's doing this. What's the theme here? Is it like, oh, I see a Ned, I see a Chuck. Does the asterisk mean they're credited under a nickname and not under their given name? Eventually, I learned
Ned,
those people
if
are
that
all...
even is your real name.
I learned they're all deceased. R.I.P. to those folks. Which is... I'm used to the tiny little dagger indicating somebody is deceased. I don't know where the asterisk came into this. Is that what that means? Yes.
I don't think I knew that.
From where I come from the world of academic publishing, when you see a journal article, Kyle, I know you look at journal articles all the time.
Oh, you
when
know
you
me.
See a tiny...
Mr. Journal Reader number one right here.
The little dagger after somebody's name means they are deceased.
Interesting. Well, speaking of being deceased, there are some characters that end up deceased in the movie that we are about to talk about today here on the podcast. We are here to talk about Thunderbolts, if you could not tell by the asterisk conversation at the start here. So yeah, Thunderbolts, Marvel's Thunderbolts. This is the 36th film in Marvel's filmography. I had to look that up because I was like, I wonder what number this one is.
Thank you. You lose track after a while. It's nice to really check in and be remembered, be reminded and remembered. I hope they remember me the way I remember them.
The 36th film, kind of wild. Yeah, I've been super excited for this one. It is directed by Jake Schreier. The screenplay was written by Eric Pearson and Joanna Kahlo. Star-studded cast. Yeah, I'm super excited to get into this one. One final stat before we start talking about our thoughts. Domestically, this one raked in $130 million. Internationally, it received $143 million, totaling for over $273 million worldwide in its opening weekend.
It's just the opening weekend, not the 2 weeks to date?
Oh, that might be the 2 weeks to date here.
We are recording a little later than we usually do.
Yeah, I'm reading off Box Office Mojo, so I'm just looking at their like all releases little thing that they have there. But yeah, I really liked this one.
I liked it quite a bit as well. It's very solid. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that quite a number of people thought this was the best since Endgame. That might have had my expectations like a touch too high. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this movie. I think it does some very interesting and creative things, but I didn't have my mind blown.
Right. I don't think it's like a mind-blowing, whoa, you need to go see this, like drop everything you're doing, learn to watch this before you walk. It's right. It's not that level of mind-blowing, but yes, I think in terms of quality, this is the best we have gotten since Endgame. And I would say it feels like a return to form. It feels like scaling back is not the right term per se, but it feels like going back to their roots a little bit here. This almost feels like a starting point or a jumping off point in the same way that Iron Man 1 and the end credits scene of Iron Man 1 felt for like,
Yes.
oh, they're starting to build something here. Okay.
Yes. That is nice.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think Florence Pugh was incredible. At like absolutely the standout of this film. I think she was kind of meant to be. So
Yeah.
that, you know, that's kind of what I expected, but she nailed it. This is emotional. It goes to some dark places, just based on the subject matter. In ways that I don't think that the MCU has truly really dived into this topic as
Not
much before.
not as much as you'd like. I think back to Iron Man 3.
Sure.
How
Yeah.
much PTSD is in Iron Man 3? This seems to be operating on a similar level.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I had a great time. I thought the action was great. I thought it was hilarious at times. There's one bit in there in particular that I think is just like one of the all-time Marvel bits of just like, that is hilarious. um, it's really good. I don't have really any bad things to say about this, other than like, if you were expecting something like the heights of an Avengers film or something like that, it's not gonna reach that.
No.
Which is not a bad thing, but
it's not a complaint, but one thing I've realized about my own personal taste in movies is that I crave color, and the movie is a little gray for me. Thematically, it makes sense. It is appropriate that it is gray, but I did long for the vibrancy of, say, a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Sure, right, yeah. Good stuff. Do you have any other kind of spoiler-free thoughts or praise that you want to do before we do a quick synopsis and then get into spoilers?
I'll just say that the asterisk was not exactly what I thought it was going to be. And that was a nice surprise.
Yeah. So you and I did kind of make a little bet at the end of last year on our Rotten Tomatoes movie prediction game that we do every December over on the Captain's Log, one of our other podcasts. And we were trying to figure out when the asterisk would be revealed. And you were a proponent of it would be revealed in a trailer. I think you were hoping for the Super Bowl trailer.
I wasn't hoping for it necessarily. I was just guessing. I'm like, it's either in the movie or in a trailer. You and I will arbitrarily pick either side and see who is correct.
Yeah. And it turns out I was correct. It happened in the movie. So there you go. We'll get into what that spoiler is in just a sec. But let's do like a broad strokes. What's the basic plot synopsis here for this one? Do you want to handle this, or do you want me to tackle it?
In this film, the Thunderbolts, you've seen them from the trailer. It's Yelena, her dad, Red Guardian, Bucky Barnes, Ghost, John Walker, and Taskmaster all come together to stop Sentry, which is a super soldier experiment of Contessa Allegra de Fontaine that has gone disastrously wrong.
Yes, yeah, that is the big overarching plot. I think only things I would add to that is it starts out by Val trying to cover her steps, these experiments. She's about to be impeached from her position as like the CIA director, or something like that. And she is sending her employees to pack everything up and clean it out and move it. She's sending her agents to blow up laboratories and stuff like that to hide the experiment she's been up to. And then things kind of really kick off when the agents are sent on one final mission. This is before they've met up, and this is how they made up, because they quickly find out that each agent is there to kill one of the other agents in like a rock, paper, scissors style. Like, I kill you, you kill them, they kill me, right? So, yeah. Go check it out if you have not. I loved the JS one. I don't know where exactly I would rank this on my favorite Marvel films. I think I would need to actually sit down one day and actually put a ranking on all of these. But this one is up there for me personally. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, one of my favorites for sure. So. Indeed. Well, yeah. I guess from this point on, let's start getting into spoilers, because I want to dive in a little bit more with this film here. So here goes our little spoiler notification. Bam. Okay. Melissa. Do we just start at the beginning, kind of Val trying to cover her tracks here, or where do you want to start?
I traditionally feel less of a need for a synopsis and linearity than you do. I want to start with the asterisk.
We're in spoilers now, so we can jump around. We're assuming that the people listening to this have also, so. Go for it.
Was your leading theory that the asterisk was going to stand for the Dark Avengers?
I don't know. I don't know if I truly had a leading theory of like, oh, it's going to be this. I bet you. That was certainly one of them. I thought it was either like Dark Avengers or the New Avengers or something like that. It turned out to be the New Avengers. I don't know. I think I was, because I'm not even sure what I was hoping for. I did know it would be some other team name, but I don't know. I feel kind of underwhelmed, but also still like, okay, I'll let you cook. Like, let's yes. see what you do with this, right?
Right. We'll see how long they even are the New Avengers before, 2 years from now the slate's wiped clean. And we won't have an Avengers again for a while.
Or Captain America comes back and he's like, hey, this is my tower. You guys need to go to the West Coast or something like that, right? I don't know. Yeah, I just thought the New Avengers, this is not really what I was wanting, but I also don't know exactly what I wanted,
I did not hear a better... The two leading theories I heard were it's going to be the Dark Avengers, much like the original comic book, or it's going to be Thunderbolts versus, and then another team. Thunderbolts versus X-Men, Thunderbolts versus Young Avengers, that there was going to be another opposing group that was going to be revealed in the movie, and it was going to be a versus title. And I thought that might be a little too ambitious. That would be a very, very well-kept secret, because we heard no whispers of anybody being in the filming location. You know how much you can tell about those, where it's just, I think I saw Andrew Garfield in the same city. You're right, like, okay, I get it. I know what's happening. And I thought Dark Avengers, they already seem like the Dark Avengers. Like, very clearly on the surface, just looking at the trailer, that feels so obvious. I thought that would be underwhelming if that was the reveal. Why not just call it the Dark Avengers the whole time?
Yeah.
So for it to be revealed as the New Avengers, I liked, because it took the darkness away from these characters.
Sure.
These characters who certainly start the movie in a very dark place. The title being New Avengers, I think, is a wonderful piece of their redemption. That they would no longer be considered dark, or as dark as they were, dark enough to be called by that name. after they've gone on the journey they've gone through in this movie. They are reborn. They are new.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
are not just the newest Avengers. They are new unto themselves. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I think what's interesting to me about the whole kind of situation is that obviously the name Thunderbolts has a history in the comics, and the twist of those comics was that, hey, here's this new superhero team, but oh, it turns out they're all actually villains. And so it's this kind of like they pull the rug out from underneath you on that. But for this movie, they almost do the opposite, where it's like, hey, let's take the like rejected heroes, the almost criminals, gray area characters, right, reluctant anti-heroes, and then let's make them the Avengers. Like let's make them the good guys instead.
Mhm.
And I think that's an interesting way to do that kind of Thunderbolts twist in a movie form of I think something like the Dark Avengers would have been less of a twist and would have been more on the nose of like, yeah, okay,
Yes.
they're the bad guys. Sure, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for them to be the new Avengers, it is, as the movie reinforces in numerous ways. Yeah, they start in this dark place. They're on a road to redemption. Maybe they've not all gotten there fully, but now they have an expectation to live up to, this like public facing expectation.
Mhm.
Which I think is going to be interesting to see play out down the road
Yeah.
with some of these
Yeah.
characters here. So,
And if that we've seen how often a character can be loaded down by the pressure of being this public facing hero, but at least in Yelena's case, it seems like that could offer some very helpful structure and motivation to her life,
yeah,
and may in fact be healthier for her than it is for a number of other people. Like, this could actually turn out positively.
yeah. I think also for John Walker, right? He has
Mhm.
this innate need, if that is the right word, inside him
Mhm.
to almost be in that spotlight and think of himself as the good guy.
Mhm.
So if he actually can be in a position like that, I think he will thrive. I think he's still gonna kind of be an asshole, right? But
Mhm.
he's gonna again, I think he's put in a position where now there are expectations. He's being held accountable in a way
Mhm.
that in the like Falcon and Winter Soldier show, maybe he had a little bit of a longer leash than he should have had,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Um, and I think even for Ghost, she was an ex-Shield member, so like she signed up to be a good guy, right?
Mhm.
And it was just kind of the circumstances of her powers and that stuff that led her to, it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll do some darker stuff for Shield and for whoever, right? And then I think Red Guardian just has he's an interesting one too, because he's just so in love with the real Captain America and the promise of
Mhm.
America that
Mhm.
I'm sure he's just going to be so happy and excited to be like,
Yeah.
I am
He's
Avenger
made for
now.
this.
Right, yeah.
Right, even if the others fall away, we could have a very cute father-daughter superhero team, just Red
Yeah.
Guardian and Yelena.
Yeah, good stuff. Which for you guys on the video version, I have on my Avengers hat, and then I have on a Smirnoff vodka
Oh,
shirt. For to
very
hopefully
clever.
get that right. We are not sponsored by them at all, but I just thought that was, it happened. It just happened. It was a coincidence. So good stuff there.
The trailers and the posters led with the conceit that these are not any of the people you would want trying to save your life. Like, they may be competent in some ways, but in other ways they are all kind of washouts, yeah, and screw ups. The idea that they don't just have to save the day they would be your backup choice for saving the day. And at the end of the movie, they are the backup choice for being Val's public-facing hero, the new golden guardian of goodness.
Yeah.
Time after time, they've been the backups, the secondary choices. And she is kind of forced to pick them, but
Mm-hmm.
you, the audience, know by the end of this journey, they have earned it. They have earned that time in the spotlight. And like I said, it might actually be good for them in a
Yeah.
way that we haven't always seen with other superheroes forced into the limelight like that.
Yeah. And the one character that so the two characters, obviously Taskmaster is one of the people that starts out as one of the agents. She gets killed real quickly, unfortunately. But then Bucky, we haven't mentioned Bucky yet.
He's in the list of names. Yeah, Bucky, he does live in an interesting place in the world of these Marvel movies. We've seen one thing I do like about I like many things about these movies. I'm a real sucker for Marvel movies, but I was thinking the other day about, especially in the last two phases, how much little background effort they put into showing how the world is grateful for these heroes. The
Mm-hmm.
murals, the t-shirts, the merchandise, like not in like a producty way, but in like, I love this person. I'm grateful for this person. I want to wear them on my chest. I'm proud to have a small plastic version of them on my desk. The world is better because they're here. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that regarding Bucky. I'm not sure how the general public thinks of Bucky, who's been he's been both a bad boy and also like, well, we know we can count on him. But all Bucky's been here since like 2009.
Yeah.
No end in sight for Bucky. It was interesting that he was a congressman and now
Yeah.
seemingly is not a congressman, but no official leave of absence or
Well,
firing has taken place.
yeah, I don't know if he's not a congressman, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know how this will shake things up, but yeah, we learned that he was a congressman in the previous Captain America movie, Brave New World. And that was an interesting twist of like, oh, he's going into politics. Interesting. I could potentially see how that would be a boon for the team to have a connection to politics with right, have some kind of liaison.
Mhm.
But I could also see that being a major conflict of interest to have him be a senator on the team, right? He may have to give that position up
Mhm.
as a senator if he wants to remain on the team. But yeah, I think he is also not only that connection to the American side of politics, but to the older Avengers of like how did they do things? What did they do in this kind of situation? I'm sure
Mm.
him and Steve got to talk about all sorts of stuff.
He's also like 127 years old,
Right,
so he can inform you on the old ways of doing everything.
right. He sure can.
I'm I'm so upset that we did not get to see the genesis of Bucky becoming a congressman. Suddenly he just is one. We never
Right,
saw him
yeah.
get the idea. We never saw anybody introduce it to him. How did this happen? Why did this happen?
Who knows? Who
I
knows?
need
and
I
and
need
seems to happen quickly. Like
yeah, bring
right.
bring back the Marvel special presentation, and it's just an episode of The West Wing, but it's all about Congressman Barnes.
That'd be great. Oh man. Let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's talk about Bob. How'd you feel about
I
Bob?
liked Bob. Bob's a delight. Bob's a lot of fun. Lewis Pullman, really compelling to look at. Just a great face.
Yeah.
He really holds your attention. He's just a sweet, hapless guy. I like the different phases we got. We got innocent Bob, we got sort of darker Bob, and then we got full on Void. And I
Yes.
love the visual design of the Void.
Yeah, incredible. That looked fantastic on screen. So, how had you heard of Sentry before this movie at all?
Are you asking if I had heard of him before I sat down in the theater, or if I had heard of him before
as a character? Like, did you know that this character existed in the Marvel universe a year ago, 2 years ago?
Oh,
outside of like trailers and stuff like that.
I was told. I am the person that as soon as there is Marvel news, I watch a breakdown and explanation of the Marvel news. So very rare, even if I don't know what it is before New Rockstars tells me, by the time I sit down in the theater, they have made me very well acquainted. Right. I never feel like I'm going in missing anything to any of these movies. Okay. I do my research.
Yeah. Well, because he's an interesting one to me because he's in the comics meant to be like a similar character to Superman when he is the Sentry, right? He is supposed to be super strong and super speed and can do all of that stuff.
Similar in like visuals and power set,
right?
If not in origin.
Yeah, and he like that is also his shtick is that he has this kind of bipolar side. I'm not sure if that's the right terminology, but has this darker depressive side of him called the Void, and the Void is almost this other entity that lives inside of him. Not necessarily like a split personality thing, but is supposed to represent the darkness inside him, right? And I think this movie did a really, really good job of bringing that out to the forefront and making this movie about dealing with depression and mental illness and, just not having a purpose in life or not feeling like you have one and just being lost. Because Yelena is feeling a lot of that exact same stuff. So, and her dad is, sitting there in his boxers watching like old news clips of him in Russia. He's like, look at those glory days. Yeah.
Brushing his teeth with Dawn dish soap.
God, that was disgusting. Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah, and I saw some people try to compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy in that, right? It's a team of misfits. They're kind of like thrown to the side or forgotten about, or like they used to be criminals or stuff like that. But whereas Guardians is more of a comedy and about like found family and even trauma.
Yes.
This is not specifically about trauma, but is about like the depression and the like feeling of purposelessness, right?
Yes, which is something that Guardians did not have. Thunderbolts is a movie full of ennui, of doom scrolling, of a different expression of trauma than we've had before.
Right, yeah. And so it feels distinct in its own way, but I do like that comparison to Guardians. I think that's an apt one. I don't have much to say on its themes of depression, just because I think it's and this is not a bad thing by any means. I think it's fairly standard in what it's trying to say and get across, but I think it does it well, and it illustrates those points accurately, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I sat there thinking, I'm sure this is people are really responding to this.
Yes.
This is hitting some people where it hurts and maybe helping them heal a little bit. It is effective at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does have a really creative visual language for expressing that with the design of the void and with the progression of the shame rooms as they go through these terrifying flashbacks and they become increasingly staged and fake and flimsy. Like there's literal set pieces, there's literal fourth walls being broken. There's people from your flashbacks staring at you from the other room like you're just on the other side of the same stage as them.
Yeah.
Which
Creepy.
lends itself to the idea that the void is putting the show on purpose to taunt you, but also the sense of you can tear this down as easily as it was put up.
Right.
And maybe that's a little far. That might be too strong of a way to put it, but like you can break this down. Yes. Yeah. You can, if you work at it, if you have support, reduce these to just painted flats. You can flatten them out and they can't hurt you as much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, when you have the void taking over completely and he's just this like blacked out character, just man, the effect on the way he looked was incredible. It almost like at its center almost looks like that paint that is like so black that it looks like it's like a hole.
Yes, the ultra black.
Yeah, but on the edges, like it's still 3D enough to be like, oh no, that is a character taking up space. Yes, you are laughing at something you just saw.
I love the tiny little pinpricks for eyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know the character Milhouse?
Sure,
Have you ever seen a picture of Milhouse when he takes off his glasses?
Is it just like two black dots?
It's in some recreations and others it is a full circle with a dot in it, but still minuscule, so tiny.
With no glasses. Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Let me put this up on screen so we can show people here. Stuff like this. Oh man, stuff isn't working exactly right. There you go. Yeah. It's so dumb. Yeah.
And I like the
go ahead.
I'm interested with where we've left Bob as a member of the team, somebody who finally has friends, has a support structure. It is very touching. One of the highlights of the movie, when they all literally grab onto each other, when they all have to do a group hug. That's maybe the neatest mirroring to Guardians of the Galaxy, when they all hold hands so that they can all take on the power of the Power Stone at the end of the first movie. I love that. And I like that Bob is now part of the team, but he is not a working part of the team in the same way everybody else is.
Yeah.
Because he can become super powerful, but only if he like lets the void in. It's like the Hulk, but instead of making your friend angry, you are making your friend extremely depressed. Which seems like a harder thing for these characters to stomach doing. So he's stronger than the Hulk. He's more powerful than the Hulk. Maybe stronger is not the word to use.
I think there is comic precedence of the Hulk just fucking him up. So I don't know.
I'd like to see it.
Right? Yeah. Puny God.
Welcome to the new Marvel miniseries. The Hulk fucks up blank.
Yeah, exactly.
He's more powerful, but also it is harder, not just logistically, but emotionally on you. You have a greater burden of prodding him into his powerful state. And you're really going to ask yourself the question, is it worth it to bring out the Sentry side of him?
Yeah. Because it's not like like you could anger Bruce Banner and he can get over it, right? Like,
yes.
and it's not just like you're ruining a relationship or a friendship. It's also the like anger that comes with like I stepped on a Lego and ow, that hurt,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Whereas with the Sentry, yeah, you kind of gotta fuck him up and make him depressed, and that could hurt that could hurt Bob in a way that's like, hey man, like that's a little harder to come back from. That could also hurt our relationship here, which then makes you even more depressed if you feel like you lost a relationship, right?
And I don't know if it's Bruce Banner says, that's my secret cap. I'm always angry, and then just turns and transforms into the Hulk immediately. I think it would be maybe a step backwards if Bob had a similar move.
That's my secret. I'm always doom scrolling, you know what I mean?
Like to learn that's, I mean, it's a process. It's a process to heal and become healthier. It's never completely going to go away, probably, but if he had a similar moment that really hurt all of us.
Yeah.
Maybe just fuck me up is what he says when he knows you have to put me in the place where I become the Sentry and I can save all of us. He turns to the rest of the team and he says, just fuck me up.
Fuck me up, Captain. Here we go.
I like it, but I appreciate that he contributes in other ways, such as doing the dishes.
Yes, yeah. Like it's interesting because I don't think we've truly seen a Avengers employee that is like, I am your secretary or I am your social media manager, right? But you wouldn't even put him on social media duties because you don't want him doom scrolling. You don't want someone leaving a bad Yelp review for the Avengers and him just getting like so sad about it, and it sticks with him, right?
We've had a Pepper, we've had a Happy, we have had other support roles, but I like that Bob could be a more like domestic side of this.
Yeah, almost like Pokemon, a butler, like Jarvis, right?
You remember on Pokemon how Brock would put on the apron and he would like make sure that Ash and Misty ate dinner?
Yeah.
That's what Bob's gonna be.
Great. Mrs. Nesbit. Love it. Wait, no, Mrs. Nesbit is depressed, right? Is Mrs. Nesbit the void of Buzz Lightyear? Wow. Anyways.
Too much.
Oh, good stuff. Yes, please.
To make a reference to another Disney animated movie, I think my favorite part of Thunderbolts was what I call the Emperor's New Groove scene.
Okay.
Where they have to link arms and like inch walk up that big crevice.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's not necessarily action, but I've never seen anything like that. At least on that scale with like 4 people have to do it. They have to do it for like a mile. This is not a brief visual gag. You are in this for several minutes. These people who hate each other have to link arms and like squiggle their way up this giant tunnel.
Only to realize they don't know how to like reach the edge once they can get up there. Yeah.
Like, but also they couldn't have just stayed down there the whole time. They did what they were supposed to do, and now it's time to stop and make another choice, make a new plan.
Yeah.
I love John Walker complaining that somebody has a weird hard butt.
Right, yeah. Oh man, yeah, that was a great scene. I do like the comedy between them because it's not necessarily like joke punchline kind of thing, but it is this like sarcastic contempt for one another.
and it does play differently with different characters. I like when John Walker's trying to show off his helmet and Yelena's like, "Is that your little hat?
Yeah.
Do you like your hat?
Your little hat.
Well,
He's like, yeah, it's a helmet. It's cool, right? You want to touch it?
A ranking of all the MCU's little hats.
Yeah, I really like stuff like that. You already mentioned Lewis Pullman's performance as Bob, as the Sentry. He almost had this Ozymandias look when he was in his like Sentry look there, which was neat. One thing I think we maybe shouldn't forget is we almost had Steven Yeun in that role there, which I think he would have been awesome. But I really like Lewis Pullman in this role. I like how awkward he is, and still like even when he's Bob, he's just like unsure and has this like, not wry isn't the right word, but has this like almost wry sense of comedy. It's not dry, but there's like the sheepishness to it that is different from the like sarcastic contempt that the rest of the team has.
Steven Yeun is very skilled. I like him a lot, but it would be a very different presence in this movie.
For sure.
Lewis Pullman is handsome, but he's like more magnetic than he is handsome, where like he can blend into the background. Like in Top Gun Maverick, when he famously played another Bob. And he's like the one fighter pilot. Right, the one fighter pilot everybody keeps forgetting is there. He's just like the background red shirt pilot of that movie.
Is interesting because that's almost what happens when they make the announcement of like, and these are the new Avengers. He starts clapping too, and then like steps away to be like, it's them, the new Avengers over there, right? And like he's like, there is this like I'm with them, but I'm not with them kind of thing there. I like about him. So
which is also a nice compliment to other characters who have tried to like grab onto the fame of other characters.
Sure.
Like when MODOK is dying and he turns to Ant-Man and he's like, am I an Avenger now? And Ant-Man's like,
yeah, buddy.
Sure.
You're an Avenger now.
This is the opposite of that. I like that he's like, you guys earned it. You can have the spotlight. I don't know if I'm Avenger material, but like you have not dismissed me, so I'm still here. I'm still on the premises.
Yeah.
But yes, Lewis Pullman he looks exactly the right way where he can kind of, your eyes will kind of glance over him and then go, wait a minute, and go back and be like, oh, I have to stare at this man now. And I think it's with Steven Yeun, you look at him and then you keep looking at him. It's different.
Yeah.
Their faces do different things.
Yeah.
Which is why we have actors. They have such great faces.
Oh, good stuff.
She doesn't play a major role in the film, but I really liked Geraldine Viswanathan as Mel.
Yeah.
I love the bit where she brings Val a coffee, and Val, for all of her machinations, for all of her, I'm doing the Montgomery Burns fingers tapping together thing right now. For all of that, she does take a beat and say, I don't tell you this enough. You always find me incredible coffee, no matter where we are. Thank you. I think that's a very nice moment. Yes, that's a very nice moment, an interesting way to humanize Val. That like, if you get on her good side, it's difficult to do, but if you get on her good side, she can express some true gratitude for you, perhaps in a way that nobody else is ever going to do.
Yeah, indeed. I don't really have much to say about Val. She still seems kind of like a mystery to me.
Yes.
Every time she's shown up, it feels like she's almost in a different role. Not in terms of like the way the character is acting, but like actual job. Like what job does she occupy? I don't know if the first time we saw her, if I knew she was like a CIA director or something like that, or if she's been the CIA director that whole time or not. but still, I like her character. I want to see more of her. I think she's ended up now in a really interesting position where it was it Yelena or Bucky that said to her at the end. I think it was Yelena, right? That was like, "We own you.
We own you
now." Yeah. I like that thing, right? Whereas the first team of Avengers kind of had Nick Fury almost lording himself over them in a not in a, like a bad way per se, but still this like we can't really touch him. He does his own thing. These guys have Val, and it is the like, no, we're lording this over you.
Yes.
Like we're gonna keep you in line here. Yeah.
Val, Nick Fury is kind of a mysterious character, but in a very different way than Val.
Yeah.
With a lot of superheroes, like a character like Natasha, every time you see her in a new movie, she's changed her hair a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And part of you knows she's a leading superhero. She's the character they put on merchandise and turn into action figures. This is Malibu Stacy and her new hat. This is just different looks for different merchandise. This is her equivalent of Iron Man's suit has slightly different stripes on it now.
Jungle action different Batman. Arctic survival Batman.
Every time you see Val, she changes in the same way, but she's not as toyetic of a character. So your brain doesn't as easily come up with an explanation for it. Every time she shows up and she looks a little different, you wonder about it. Like, what's going on? Why did she choose this? They're never like massive, wild stylistic changes, but every time you see Val, you learn a new thing about her, and you're like, huh. Yeah. So she's CIA director. So she used to be married to Everett Ross. So she watched her father die in Italy. And she's got this weird stripe in her hair, not like a rogue stripe where it happened by accident. I think that's on purpose. That's like a life choice she made once and now isn't going back and just keeps doing it. How do these all fit together into being one woman? Who is she? I really hope she sticks around. I'd love to see us eventually get to like real vulnerability with Val.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, she's an interesting character for sure because she still remains such a mystery. And not necessarily like a mystery in like, well, what does this mean for future movies and stuff like that? But she's incredible actress playing her, right? Is magnetic in all of the times that we've seen her. Like is a scene stealing character. Has a little bit of Nick Fury, and then in this one at the start has a little bit of Tony Stark Iron Man of love, like, no, I am Iron Man, I own the suit, right? With her being like, let's face it, the Avengers aren't coming, right? Like, I'm the one in charge here. And yeah, I hope we continue to learn more about her as the movies progress. I feel like she could really end up being a character that we come to care about in some way, shape, or form, that could play a pivotal role in the future of the MCU here. I had to look something up real quick. She also has a bit of the character from the comics named Victoria Hand. And technically, Victoria Hand existed in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show and died in that show. So I don't know. But Victoria Hand was kind of the one egging when the Dark Avengers came up in the comics as a result of the Scree or the Scree, good lord, the Skrull secret invasion. Victoria Hand was the one that was egging Norman Osborn on, who in the comics was in charge of the Dark Avengers. And she ended up being in charge of the Dark Avengers, and she has like dark black hair with like a red stripe in the same way that Val has her white stripe there. So I'm wondering if they're trying to almost make some kind of similarity of like she's in a role like that. So she seems like a mixed bag, but I like her a lot. I hope we get to see more of her. I don't know if I have much. Oh, the funniest moment that I had in this. We also haven't talked about what the Thunderbolts name actually is yet. We'll get to that in a sec too. So after they escape from the facility, Bob basically tries to like sacrifice himself so the other ones can escape, but that's when his powers activate and stuff like that. But as Yelena and John Walker and Ghost are out there in the desert, just like walking home, not knowing what to do next, they see this car coming up in the distance, and at first it's like, oh, I bet that's her dad. And even when it becomes that much more obvious that yes, it's Red Guardian coming to save Yelena, oh my god, it's just hilarious. It's almost like the Monty Python gag where they're looking out over the castle, and the same scene happens multiple times where it looks like they're getting closer, but they never quite get closer. But he's getting closer the entire time, but he's like honking the horn and screaming and being like, Yelena, I love you. Don't die.
Your dad.
Yeah, it's your dad. And she's just like, oh my god, I am so embarrassed right now. This is a nightmare.
This is a fun context in which to throw in the embarrassing dad.
Yeah,
picking you up from school.
An incredible scene. I think one of my favorite moments of the MCU, just to see like trained, hardened assassin with skills to kill a god, right? And she's just like, oh fuck, that's my dad. Like handed it, like right, like oh no, like come on, dad, oh man. It's great. It's so good. Yeah, so I love that bit.
One missed opportunity twice in recent enough memory of the MCU.
Okay.
They've included a song as a bit, and I've spent the rest of the movie hoping that song will be resurrected as a cool needle drop as somebody goes into battle. When they're in Red Guardian's limo and he hits the button and it starts playing Pony.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Pony would come back. All right, let's get amped up for battle.
Yeah.
And the other one was in Thor Love and Thunder when they're getting ready for a battle. And Valkyrie's got all this equipment on her, and somebody's like, and this one, what does this do? And she's like, oh, nothing. That's just my Bluetooth speaker. And she pulls out the speaker, and it starts playing Mary J. Blige's Family Affair.
Right, yeah.
I am still upset that they did not bring back that song to, like, play as the characters walk into the battle in slow motion. The kind of walk into the battle in slow motion that you get out of, like, Guardians, the Deadpool movies.
You want the money shot with the like ridiculous song in the back there.
Yes. But the ridiculous song feels earned because you seeded it earlier. That's all I want.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe with a potential future Avengers versus X-Men, maybe you'll get a battle of the bands, so to speak, where it's competing songs. Anyways, Thunderbolts. The name comes from Yelena's soccer team when she was a kid.
Yes.
And did you know that there's one girl who pooped on the center?
Yep.
I never thought that was a good bit.
I like the mystery that we don't know if that girl pooped by mistake or on purpose. They never say.
Right. Like, did she get hit in the stomach with the ball real hard that it like, or was she just like,
or was she just
so bored? that
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down and poop. Oh, you can't stop me.
was the team down that much, and was she that upset that she was like, screw this, I'm pooping?
It's a cute backstory. I'm curious the legacy this movie will have going forward, in that when this thing lands on Disney Plus, is it still Thunderbolts
It's
asterisk?
an
Is this the
interesting
experience
question.
every future viewer is going to have? It's called Thunderbolts asterisk, and a movie plays exactly the same, where at the end they show the title and it rips away and it's the new Avengers. Or is it just going to be they've been doing a bit where, like, I saw a video of Sebastian Stan with a bald head, and I'm really curious, like, is that a life choice, or what role are you preparing for, Sebastian Stan, with your weird bald head? But he's going around, like, to bus stop ads of Thunderbolts and ripping the poster, and now it says the new Avengers. I- Is that what's happening? Have we now sunsetted Thunderbolts asterisk as a title?
I
Is it
hope
gone?
not. I really hope they stick with the name Thunderbolts as like the movie title, right? Even if they if the team, which at least for this movie, right now, I can see them making a new Avengers movie and having it be that, right. But like I think for that, I don't like the complete switch. Also, I know you are not as on social media as I am. Marvel spoiled this. Like the day the movie came out, it was everywhere that like, no, it's actually the new Avengers, and everyone was like, what are you doing? I haven't seen it yet. Like
What do you mean the day it came out? Thursday or Friday?
I think like Friday or like it was opening. It was like that opening weekend where like they now released the new posters of, and it's actually called New Avengers. And a lot of people were really upset with that of like, look, if you want to change the name of the movie eventually, that's fine. At least a week, maybe more, like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man, that feels, or have it be like that just is like Thunderbolts is the name, and going forward it will be New Avengers as a result of what happens in the movie, and not like and we're renaming this movie because it's actually this thing, right? I don't think I would mind a like Thunderbolts : New Avengers. I think that's fine because that way you have both on there, but I don't want the like complete switch.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Well,
I don't know.
it was
Maybe
fun.
That's just me.
It was fun to live in the mystery of not just what does this mean for the plot, but marketing wise.
Sure, yeah.
Why did this appear? Because it was introduced as just Thunderbolts. The asterisk only showed up like 10 months ago. It hasn't been. It was a relatively later stage edition. What a fun, weird ride. Just wondering when they will tell us what the asterisk means.
Yeah.
That's I have a lot of fun with that. Not just waiting for things in the movies, but waiting for reveals and announcements around the movies, regarding the movies here in our Earth world, whatever universe we are.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Why did they change the font of the Spider-Man logo? What's happening here, right? Like
I liked the end credits with all of the mock newspapers and magazines mocking the new Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys for real? Is this serious? You can't mean this. I like this movie being an interesting mirror to our own world, where many people complain of superhero fatigue when it comes to the cinema landscape. And that there's people in the fictional world of the Marvel universe who are like, no, I don't want it any. Maybe I don't want superheroes anymore, but
the
like,
Avengers
I don't
B
want
team is here to save me. Great. Well, I don't know if my insurance will cover these screw ups, right?
You step up. You do better. I'd love to see the tale of, in this post-Endgame world we've been in where there is no clear Avengers team. The heroes we've had have often been standalone kind of fringe cases where maybe they make a scene in their particular neighborhood but don't get out much larger than that. I would like to see the story of somebody who's like looking around saying, "We need a hero. I'm going to step up. Nothing has happened to me to give me powers. I've never received any special training, but I can see the world is in need."
Yeah.
I long for a return to something like the Spider-Man 2 subway scene where all those New Yorkers stand up to Doc Ock and say, "If you want Spider-Man, you have to go through us."
Yeah.
Show me everyday people doing that again, please.
Yeah.
Show me that and show me it working.
That would be fun. I mean, there's also the Avengers Initiative, or no, is that what they called it in the comics? Avengers Academy? Is that why am I not remembering that right? But like shortly after Civil War in the comics, they had like state sanctioned little Avengers teams in each state as like a training ground for younger or newer heroes.
The Farm League.
Right, yeah. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see down the road. Yeah, I like that first end credits scene. Good joke. Not really much else to say about that. There is a second end credits scene, and I kind of knew what was coming before it happened. Did you catch the thing that could spoil it of what was coming next?
Kyle, you take me for a fool? Of course I noticed it. That's one of the key ways you can learn something is by really studying those music credits at the end of a movie.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly what I saw. I was like,
they will hold an actor from being credited, but I don't know if there's like a legal reason where they can't always hold a music cue from being credited before the end credit scene actually rolls. But I don't know. I didn't mind.
Yeah,
it was like having an Easter egg on top of an Easter egg if you were reading close enough.
Right. Yeah, I always end up paying attention to the music credits, not because I'm looking for a specific song or anything like that, but because I know that the music is often a cue for, okay, you're at the end of the credits here, you know?
Yes.
And I happened to see that where it said the Fantastic Four theme song. And I immediately leaned over to Rachel and I was like, I think we're getting Fantastic Four in this end credit scene here.
Yeah.
And
they bring out the big guns. They bring out Big Mike.
Yeah.
I like how long this post-credit scene is. I like that we get to see a little bit of what the new status quo is. You get the hook of Sam and Bucky have had a conversation about having accidentally developed two opposing sets of Avengers, and it did not go well. And we're not exactly clear on who is on Sam Wilson's team besides him and Joaquin Torres. There's logical candidates, but I'm curious what the recruitment process looks like. Like, I know Sam knows Ant-Man. Like, does he have Ant-Man's number? How specifically do you get in touch?
I'm
with
sure
these
after
people?
the fact that Sam got beat up by Ant-Man that one time, right? I feel like they've reconciled at some point and be like, "Hey, man, here's my number." Yeah.
Who can be mad at Ant-Man? But you know, what's a call? What's a text? What's an email? What's a Zoom? What is I just showed up on your doorstep in the middle of the night, ominously. I pulled a Nick Fury recruiting Tony Stark into the Avengers. I'm just in your house. I really want to know how this happened.
Yeah. So I'm curious about what this end credit scene means, because this is kind of one thing I was thinking about as we have started to learn a little bit more about the Fantastic Four movie that's coming up, and just from general Marvel history, their trailers, maybe until recently, have tended to be scenes and stuff from typically the start of the movie. And so that they don't spoil too much in their trailers. And so, yeah, if we get to see the Fantastic Four in the trailers, like getting ready to go on this space mission and then seemingly maybe having to go back up as a threat is incoming, right? Which time is it that they end up in the MCU that we know right now in our universe here? Was that the first time? Are they escaping Galactus from a failed universe to come into ours? Will they remain in ours? Will they go back? I don't know. But I find that really interesting of just what the possibilities are. I also have a question. Did we ever truly find out what the Shang-Chi end credit scene was, where they're getting some signal from space? Did we ever truly figure out what that was? I don't remember.
There's things that it could have been, like the events of the Marvels, but none of those characters who are present in those scenes have come back and said, well, we solved that signal from space. Like, we have not yet heard from that group of people. And in hindsight, I've been trying to remember, like, they just all showed up together in a post-credits scene. Who contacted who? How do Wong and Carol Danvers and who else is in that scene? Okoye? How do they all know Shang-Chi? How were you introduced? Who brought this about?
Shang-Chi, and I forget Awkwafina's character's name, who I think is also there too. They're out eating lunch, and then like one of the Doctor Strange portals comes up, and Wong's like, "Hey, I need you guys here."
So Wong just always does that. He never just texts you. Is that 100%? Is that every time somebody has met Wong for the first time, has it been via portal?
This is why he's hanging out with Madison, so that she can teach him how to text, right? You can't just drop over unannounced. You need to give them the OMW, right? Yeah, like I guess you're right. It could have been the events of the Marvels, but I don't know if we've gotten a definitive thing on that. And that, to be honest, that one almost feels like they dropped the ball on that. But I could also see them, because I'm not sure exactly timeline how it all matches up. I'm wondering if this is an example of, because there is that line in the Fantastic Four trailer of like, we stretched the boundaries of space, right? What if that was the signal that they got a year or two before in the Shang-Chi one, and here they are now having broken through, maybe like, trying to escape from Galactus, or something like that. That could be potentially interesting, but we shall see. Do you have thoughts on seeing the Fantastic Four ship right there at the end?
I like that it's just the ship. We have a lot of mystery as to who exactly is on the ship. Yeah. Presumably it's the four, maybe Herbie, maybe Franklin, but like, who else? Who else may be aboard that? Is this a situation
Silver
like
Surfer on there?
Right. I'd love to see Silver Surfer go inside of a ship and not just surf her way around, just loose out there, raw in space.
Yeah.
Does she like to be contained? When all of Asgard is on the ship at the end of Thor Ragnarok, is it a situation like that? We have no sense of scale. We don't know how big that ship is.
You're right.
Who's on it? When is it coming? Who is it coming to? Because the fact that the Thunderbolts have seen it, and we've seen the Thunderbolts see it, does not mean that ship is coming to the Thunderbolts so that the Thunderbolts will be the first person to reach it.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Who knows? I'm excited for Fantastic Four, which is coming up in July. So we are recording this on Tuesday, May the 13th. I think the next Marvel thing that is coming out is Ironheart, which is in June. Yeah.
June.
I say that because we are supposed to get a trailer tomorrow for Ironheart, the first one.
I think. Did the trailer drop today?
No, it did not. They released a thing there, like where Ryan Coogler was talking about some stuff, and that was to announce trailer tomorrow, 3-episode premiere June 24th, I believe. Is what the
that must have been what I saw reaction videos to. I thought there was a trailer today.
No, the trailer's tomorrow. Yeah. Which we're also getting a Superman trailer tomorrow too. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Comic-Con.
Yes.
Comic-Con is July 24th through the 27th. Fantastic Four is which weekend in July again? Fantastic Four is that weekend.
Comic-Con weekend. Okay. Interesting.
They will coincide, so we will probably have something in Marvel's Comic-Con announcements regarding the developments of Fantastic Four. I'm really intrigued. I'm intrigued every year by what they're going to announce at Comic-Con. But this year especially, after they pulled the stunt with the chairs, is there going to be something else like that? Like, we're going to give you information that's exciting, but it's not going to be in a way you're used to receiving it.
Right. Yeah. A transmission from Herbie. Right. He'll catch something from another reality.
What I want is that they bring out the chairs, and then the actors come and sit on the chairs and just do a sexy chair dance to a cell block tango.
Led by Deadpool himself as he's conducting them good stuff. Some exciting stuff coming up. So interested to see what they do with Ironheart, because that feels like a long time coming.
Yes.
They've had that one on the docket for a long time. So good stuff with that. Any other kind of final thoughts as we wrap this up here, Melissa?
Good time at the movies, and I always enjoy a Marvel movie, even the Marvel ones I'm not into. They're still an important part of my life. I'm happy that people as a whole really liked Thunderbolts, and I was not stuck being the odd one out. Still on board with these Marvel movies as people fall away from them.
Yeah. Good stuff indeed. Well, let's wrap things up right there. So, Melissa, where can the people contact you on the internet?
You can email me at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com.
There you go. Actually, before I forget, do want to give one quick note of housekeeping on some stuff. I rarely ever do housekeeping on this show, but I've been cleaning up our YouTube feed and our Patreon and stuff like that, but just been doing some spring cleaning. Patreon.com/the Whatnauts is where you can support us. On the YouTube side of things, our YouTube feed will now be much cleaner. There will not be audio only versions of videos going up as well, so there won't be like a duplicate thing with that. If you use YouTube Music to listen to podcasts, first of all, I don't believe you exist, but second, it will now give you the option to switch between the audio or the video version of our podcasts. So that should be really neat. And then over on the Patreon side, I've just kind of been cleaning up things in general. And for Spotify, we now have a Spotify feed of our patron first podcast, the Pilots Club, that is exclusive to Spotify. You can get the free version of the Pilots Club anywhere you get your podcast, but there is a special exclusive feed on Spotify that has all of the Pilots Club episodes that is only accessible if you are at our Patreon tier at the $3 tier and above. So be on the lookout for all of that. Also, slowly but surely adding the video versions to Spotify of our podcasts. Too. So I think right now everything we've released this year in 2025 has a video, and I'll be working on 2024 soon here. So there you go. That's it for housekeeping. So let me wrap this up for real. If you guys want to follow me, I am at Kyle Springer. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at thewhatnauts.com on Blue Sky. We are also over there on Threads. So please go like, share, and subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go check out some more of our videos over there on that side of the screen. That would also help us out a ton. And this has been number 145 of the Whatnauts Reactor Core. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.